Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Challenge Accepted, which is doing this lovely sketch from Scrap-A-Sketch, Lisa Sikorsky's of Sikorsky Scraps Facebook group. And I love this. I love this idea. I'm also doing the load prompt, which is about the couch that was in Friends, such a big part of the Friends series. It was the couch that was in Central Perk, and it's in the opening credits. And it has fringe at the bottom, so our technique prompt was to use fringe. So I actually bought these herb scissors a while back, and I'd never used them before today, but I have, just to be sure that I wouldn't mess anything up, I have fringed one end of each of these strips, and I'll show you. I cut 2¼ inch by 11 inch strips, and I'm going to let them overlap each other, and the one that overlaps on top, which I guess is the overlap, the other one would be the underlap. All the overlap ones will be the fringes. And I'm using, for supplies, I'm using the Mind the Scrap February kit, which just hit my house last night. And I opened it up and decided to use it today. I have backed the photo with, which is a picture of Ava and Allie with John on the on our couch. It's just one of the 5 million photos that shows daily life being carried out on the couch. And I'm going to have journaling that will probably go on the back, or I'm not going to get involved with journaling in the front because it's going to be kind of a busy page. But I do want to journal about kind of the story. We've had a million couches in our 40 years that we spent together, and the this one that's here now, back in the early days when the kids were smaller, it's where sleepovers were held, and where before we got a table, it's where Ava would sit at the, like on the couch and lean over onto the coffee table and do some homework, and it's where meals were eaten. And yes, I know that's not supposed to happen, but it did and does. And these days, it's where I sit and watch British television shows and eat my meals, unless it's a dinner time meal that I'm serving at the table for the rest of the family. And it's where I do my fussy cutting. I always have scissors and some papers that need to be fussy cut. So it's kind of, I would say, not a lot of time all in one sitting is done on the couch, but a fair amount of life takes place there. I probably do more like from the couch as my base than I do this table that I'm sitting at now, or the dining table, or the desk that's in the other room. So it was kind of a timely subject, because even before I saw the load prompt, I actually was thinking about doing a couch page, and I had seen another photo of John, Katie, Barrett, and Allie all on the couch, and I cannot find it in my 52,000 photos. I can't get back to that one. And I may, if I can find it, I may replace this one. But this one's kind of cute. Ava's showing Allie something on her phone. The one that I had before was, the kids were a lot younger, and I don't know. It's just, I don't know, just kind of brings a lot of stuff back. Okay, so let's start lining these up. I'm going to look at this as my guide, and I'm going to say that I'm going to do this this one first because it's the only thing that's got an image that needs to stay right side up. So I'm going to kind of do it like that. And then I'm going to take this pink one and slide it under there. And that's going to kind of determine my spacing. I'm going to let it stick up a little bit, you know, like, I don't know, half an inch or so. And then this one's going to go like, oh no, yeah, I think that's right. This one has to go there because I don't want these two yellows to hit each other. Is that about right? That should work. And now this is going to go down there and then over up here. And I'm not sure how I'm going to embellish, but I will tell you that I have in my arsenal here some of the florals from the kit, but they're doodlebug. So they are these kind of much clearer, brighter sorts of colors. And in the 6x8 pad, this is from Simple Stories Good Stuff, and it has some kind of duller colors. It has some brighter ones like this pink, but it has some duller ones. So what I've done, I'm also doing Punched Out Thursdays to die for, and so I have die cut some foliage from a lacy dull green pattern that I can add behind the brighter colored foliage, and hopefully that kind of lends that tone to these brighter flowers. And I have, I've also die cut a sunshine from the pink paper that I used in this mat. And I've got clouds that probably could go either side, either the pink or the dull green. I thought where I put the journaling, I might attach this little typewriter, and I thought I'd use this little frame for to arrange some embellishments. I have Flair picked out a cat because the couch was a great place for the cat to join us when we were, or the cats, when we had Mickey and Mo that we were fostering. I don't think Scout was ever on this couch because we bought it after we moved to this house, and Scout passed away when we were at the other house. I have this two-tone pink heart. I have a paint splat because there was definitely paint splattered on that white upholstery there. That's a slipcover, so we were able to take it off and wash it, and the white one we actually bleached. I eventually gave up on the white one after about 5 or 6 washings, and I bought the dark gray one that's on there now. And the kids are older, and so there's not as much, not as many disasters. This could just as easily be a jelly splat or a hot chocolate splat or a coffee spill. I have these, this is from a school-themed set of Flair. There's a notebook and some glue and a backpack and a globe, and that's because there was a lot of homework done on there. So I'll see if I can tile that in. I have some, the thing I'm really dying to try is this Nuvo sparkle spray in the most beautiful color of, it's called Sparkling Mimosa. And I don't know that I would have named that Mimosa, but it's just the most beautiful color. I have no idea how or if I'm going to use that. So we shall see. Okay, the photo cluster is going to go right here. And there's in the original, there's another cluster that's up here. So I thought maybe I would anchor that on like a combination of this and this. Maybe put this right here and this right here. And then I can decorate that somehow. Let me go ahead and just get that started being built. And I have to figure out a place for the title to go and figure out what the title is actually going to be. I normally might try to put this on foam, but I think I'm going to let it, since it's going to be underneath some clusters, I'm going to be okay with it being flat. It will have some dimension over the yellow page and there, but I honestly don't know how much of that's going to actually show. So let me, just to test my theory about the foliage, I've got the, let's see, where did my tweezers go? There they are. I put them down and lost them right away. That's kind of typical. I'm gonna say that I'll start with a kind of a two-toned pink flower and maybe put it right there on some foam. And then layer some leaves behind it. And I'll put it kind of in this corner there. And I'll take these leaves and kind of lay them there. And this kind of matches that pattern paper, so that goes there. And then let's take one of the flares. I'm just kind of building the cluster as a kind of on spec here, I guess you would call it. Let me now say that maybe this layered right over there. And that adds that kind of dull green tone, and it brings in, it repeats the color. This little slide frame is from the same collection, so that tone matches that tone. And I love how when you die cut leaves out of a lacy fabric, I love the texture that gives the leaves. I think that's so pretty. Okay, so that one's done. And I'm going to go ahead and put the photo cluster down. And I'm going to try to get the photo itself parallel with all the rest of this stuff that's going on. And I'm going to look for a similarly colored flower like this one. And I'm going to cover this area. That's kind of a messy, to be honest, it was my craft area at the time, and it was kind of a mess. And then I'm thinking that Ava probably would appreciate if I built another cluster down here and covered up the bent legs there. So I think she'll thank me for that. Okay, there. And I'm going to find another leaf cluster that'll go here. This should come together fairly quickly because using 4 different pattern papers for the frame there and 3 different pattern papers for the mat behind here, it's kind of busy. And that's okay, but you don't have to go overboard, I would think. You know, tell me that during Calvin Ball. So I'm going to kind of layer that in there, and I'm going to add another one over here. And then I'm going to do some of these other, well, actually, let's put the kitty cat flare there. And I'm going to put that little there. I'm going to put it there. And what I'm going to do here is put a small piece of foam behind the solid cloud, and that will lift up the whole thing so that there'll be some dimension there. And I'm going to kind of just put it right there. Let me get that kind of coaxed back down a little bit. It will flatten itself. And now I have this little sunshine, which is the pink, and I can make that part of this cluster right here. And so I'm gonna put a little glue along the bottom and then just in a couple spots up at the top, because I don't want the whole thing. I like the way it sort of bends and the rays kind of stick up in the air. So that brings in this pink, and it's kind of the color that's on the inside of that flower there, so that works out well. Now it looks like I still need something right here, and I could let this be where the typewriter is. And look how cute the typewriter is on the pink side. But all of the okay, that works. Now I'm going to build another cluster right down here, and I'm going to do a little bit different color flower, maybe right there. And I don't have any more of those green leaves. Oh, yes, I do. Or is that a... Yes, I do. Okay, so let me put that right here. And then I'm going to be sure that this sort of arches up. Let me do that like that. And then I can do a small pink flower. Okay, come on. There's one right here that I can probably slide back in there. And that adds, you know, it kind of includes that pink color in the cluster without being too matchy-matchy. Okay, there. And then I'm gonna maybe look for another. There's this yellow is fairly predominant here, so there's a nice little yellow sprig right there, and then I can back it with some of the dark green, that bluish, grayish green. Okay, there. And then, and see, that's pretty on the white polka dot side too. Can I get that right there? And another one, maybe right there. Don't want to cover up too much of the photo, just the parts that the girls would want me to cover up. And then I've got this one, which could also go in that cluster, but maybe it wants to go down here. I think so. I think it does. And then I'm going to do something that I usually don't do, which is I'm going to put a geotag right here. Normally, I would put it up high because it kind of indicates the setting or location of where the story's taking place. And in this case, it's down here by the photo of the couch. So I'm going to use this flare right under there because that's the schoolwork one and it's closest to Ava. And she was the one who was young enough to do schoolwork, although I think all the kids did at one time or another. And Allie certainly has done art on the couch. Okay, now I've got this little cloud with a heart. I do want to use it, but I want it to somewhat, it's going to be a little flatter onto the paper. Maybe, how about if I overlay it on the flower? Let me kind of hold it there and say, now that looks silly. Let's see if I do it that way. That works. That will hold it down and it'll be lifted up by the flare and the rose. Okay, this is the paint splatter, and I honestly don't know that we really need to use it, but I have it out, so I'm going to use it, and I'm going to use it kind of under here. Maybe I am and maybe I'm not. There, and then I have to turn this guy back because I want that kind of overlaying that. Because that red color is kind of not, there are some reds in these doodlebug ephemera, but not there. I'm thinking I really like this little guy, and it could kind of go right there. I'm going to just go ahead and glue it together, and then I'm going to tuck it under as opposed to try to make it look like it was attached to the photos. I'm going to do this. There we go. just another layer. And now I have enamel dots and these little tiny shape sprinkles, which came from a previous Mine the Scrap kit. But I'm going to go ahead and build some. Let me see if this light brightens things there. Okay, let's go with a pink and a little yellow and a little dark green. That's not where I want that little dark green one. I want it right there. And then I'm going to add a little heart. And we've used this kind of aqua color, and that's not in those enamel dots. So I'm going to put a little aqua heart kind of down here by the pink dot. Okay, and then I'm going to do some dots up here. I'm going to do a dark green here, and I will go with another green, and I'm covering up the polka dots on the paper, and I'll put the next color over here on white, and that's going to be the pink. And I'm going to use a small pink. And it'll be the, well, do I want to do that? Or let's just put it over this dot, right? I've lost it now. Okay, I'll find it later, but let's go with I'm determined to use that pink right there. And then I'm going to take another kind of teal colored heart and put it right there. Except I want it a little bit angled like that. Okay, and up here, I guess I'll kind of work right down in this area. So I'm going to go with a yellow for the large one, and a dark green small one. And then there's an orange here that's kind of like that color, and there's a little orange there. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Just use all the colors, right? There, and I'm going to go with let's see. Let's go with the lime green heart, because those leaves in the clusters there are kind of, and I'll let this look like it's kind of trailing down. And I think we're done. Other than the journaling I'm going to do, this is it. I have to tell you, Lisa, you knocked it out of the park with that sketch. That's amazing. And Emma, you knocked it out of the park with that kit. It's amazing, and I love it. And now what I want to try are just a few sprinkles of this. So what am I going to protect that with? Let me get a piece of paper out of the trash. I have and of course when I take one piece of paper out of the trash, a bunch of others come out. Let's do this to cover that, and I'll do some sprinkles right in there. or splatters, not sprinkles, I guess. Ooh, it's extremely glittery and amazing. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, and then I'm going to do some more kind of up in here. Whoops, I got some on the pattern paper, and that's okay. If I got it on pattern paper up there, I'll get it on pattern paper down here. Okay, that is done, and I love it. So thank you for watching. I will see you next Thursday for Challenge Accepted, and we'll be on the March. Well, it'll be in March next week, and instead of doing Lisa's sketches, we're doing Christy's 30 Days of Sketches, and some of Lisa's sketches are going to be in that group. I'm going to be doing 30 Days of Sketches every day along with Calvin Ball, and I'm going to, on Thursdays, I'll be doing Punched Out Thursdays, plus Calvin Ball, plus 30 Days of Sketches for Challenge Accepted. So every Thursday is going to be a threefer. So it's ought to be fun. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And let me see if I can lift this guy up and bring it up closer for you to see. Let's see. There we go. I'm happy with it. Thank you. Bye.